Okay, I'm going to get into some more complicated characters here. I have the female character here. She has a lot of action to her pose. You'll see again all the underlying shapes and lines that I have. Right here, I just started one. I pick a center line or some kind of line that helps me line and measure off of. So the line's going right up from where that part is. I start getting the hair shape in here. The face is coming along like that. Got that part. Comes down. Eyes are at an angle through here. One's coming out of the hair here. I think maybe I shortchanged that hair a little bit. And again, nice sharp pencil. Try and keep those lines really light at first, and then as you correct, you start getting a little bit darker. She's got a little slight nose here. Then the mouth, how far down from here, crosses over. Get that basic shape in it. Hair's coming along here, and then an ear. Now I'm going to leave that alone for a minute and try and get some other shapes developed. That hand comes up around the ear here on the other side of that line. Shape kind of like that. Again, keeping it nice and simple at first. No details, and I'm kind of working the whole body here. I don't want to get one area completed and then have it be wrong later as far as proportions with everything else. So I'm kind of working the whole character. Okay, we've got a shoulder coming up here. So that the two hands line up. So you can do a guideline here. Get that big shape, blocky shape of the hand. Arm's going to come down in here somehow. Okay, now we've got this curve that swings along here for this leg. Let's see here. Really, let's bring it down. This line is really what follows through the whole back. So I'm going to come down here, make sure that leg, I've got room for it. So I want to cut back on this. Okay. So this comes through something like this. And the foot comes down like that. Get some weight down on this figure on the ground. I need about that much room, so I may have to adjust things as I come back up. Okay, this leg. So I'm looking at the space right here. This leg poofs up. A little bit further. Something like that. Okay, so I'll come up in here and start checking my distances. I have a lot of space right here. See, that hair comes through down in here. And I think I can move this up a little, which is good because I could tell this leg was losing I was losing a little bit of space for that leg. So that means I'll be able to bring this up into here and move this more like that. Okay, so the waist here, we've got something like that. It gets a really thin waist here that curves up. Coming out of the hand. Let's see, a little bit of an angle like that, and get that curve down through there. Shirt. Belly button. Check my size here. We've got a belt that's coming through here. And a shape comes off like this. I think this can move down a little. So I kind of go up and down a little bit to start correcting things at this point. So I'm going to get this swooping out into here. And I'll start erasing lines that I think go away. Okay, so I've got the basic pose here. I'm going to come back up into here. I'm not liking this area at all yet. This hand is a little bit larger. This comes through here. Here comes more like that. Okay, so I think we can pull this in. I may measure from here. The edge of that hair there is where this waist is here. So we're going to curve through here. You want to start curving things the way you see them to give them a little bit of form. Okay. Come up from here. I might have that out a little too far. So, another thing to think about. I can pull this in here and curve it up and then down like so and round this along. So the main thing for you to see is you have to keep working on things. Once it's all about how these shapes and lines relate to each other. So as you get one thing corrected, it's going to affect something else, and you go back and fix it. And don't expect it to be right away. Don't go into details until you have all your positioning right, because it's easier to sit and adjust these simple shapes than once you have all your details in. So now I can pull that out. I can erase that. It starts to look like it's sitting over her there. That's not bad. This definitely comes down more. And this needs to move down some more. So I clean that up. Again, I don't erase, I don't just look at my lines and say, oh, that's not right, and erase it. I wait until I get some lines that are correct, and then I fix them. This definitely bad, needs to pull way down like this. and around. Let's see how that is. Better. Better, better. Still needs a little bit of work. Pull that down. That's curved too much there, so I correct that. Let's see. So, not bad. Still not perfect. This, I'm going to go back along this to try and get this swooping in here a little bit better. Still going to need some more width to that, but I think I'll go back up and correct some of these things and then work it again. So we've got this arm coming up here, so I'm looking at that line. It definitely needs to get longer. Okay, and take a look at it. Come off of this shoulder and see what I've got. So this moves up. Now I'm getting some better width here. And this curves up like so. The sleeve rounds around like this. Now getting curves like this are really important to give that sense of form, especially the simpler the characters, the more you need to make sure that any subtle curves are correct. The hand comes right in and up through here. Fingers angle down like this. You've got one. Again, keep it simple at first. And these line back into there. That gives me a little bit more length here. Hair comes more out into here, curves down there, so I follow through with my line and then I erase it. That way you get this lined up in the right place. I can come in and start getting rid of some of these lines. Now I'm going to wrap this up on this one because I want to get into some others. I'll post a finished one that you'll be able to see taking off from here. I just wanted to show you again what the process is. And it's up to you to take the time to sit and figure things out. It's all about measuring and adjusting one shape and one line off of another. So as one gets correct, you adjust another one. As you get your lines looking good, then you start darkening them. Darker lines in front, so you can have this line darker than this, and it'll give you more form also. Okay, now for Shrek. Shrek, massive character, a lot of weight to him. There's an angle to his head here, an angle to his shoulders. So those are the things that I look at first. The direction of the feet, one's forward, one's to the side. So I'm going to come over here and get that oval for his head. Nice and simple at first. Loose lines, light lines. Then the shoulders are going to come up kind of like that. He's got some good mass to his body. Kind of measure that. This belly comes down far, but I have to look at where the feet are, so I might need some adjusting on that. Okay, so his face is at that angle. Arms come down like that. This one out. It's really important to stay nice and light, and the first thing I figure out is how it can fit on the page, because I'd rather erase everything here and adjust it before I get any details in and say, oh, doesn't fit. This comes down. So again, these loose lines, if I look at this, I can see, you know, there's no way those legs are going to fit. So I have to start working back up the other way. So I go through, get rid of that, and I say I need this kind of space. Knees. That has to be where the fabric comes down in here. Then I've got this space, and I've got this vest, and then his chin is right here. Big wide face that tapers up, so I'm just going to go up into this area. But that's a really important thing to look into, is how is it fitting on your page, and do you have room? So this comes down. Some little vest here. That already looks a little bit better. Like I might be able to make this fit now. I'm not going to start again, so I'm just going to work with what we've got here. Actually, I'm probably going to go back to this one and develop it and leave this as showing what you go through on getting this fit right. But sometimes it's just getting those angles. Like this pulls up more here. This vest and the arm here. But the key is figure that all out when you're at this stage of it. Don't get a bunch of details and then say it doesn't fit. And a part of having good composition is making sure that your figure fits on the page right. Don't let the page determine what your drawing is, so you have to adjust all that. And you have to plan up front. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this one and just start developing this. Okay, so we've got him fitting on the page pretty well. And again, I work back and forth. I go up and I go down to get this fit right. So this is definitely where his feet have to be. Okay. And if I get the opening to the shoe right, and the basic shape here, it's forward. And the basic size. So I look at this and I say, these all kind of line up right from here. So I can get that leg looking wider. By doing that. Okay, this is the calf coming out. Kind of an angle. And it comes out actually over here too. A little bit lower. This stays up in here. Get rid of those lines. So that leg is actually looking kind of good. Come over here, visually get my distance about right. Shoe looks pretty close. The opening of the shoe is like this, and this leg is going to come up from here. So let me get rid of some of those lines. That'll help that look a little bit better. And again, I'll have to keep correcting. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get more in up here. Don't want to get too detailed in one area. This has a little bit of flow to it, so I'll start building that flow into it. Got his hips kind of poking out here. This has a little bit more of an angle. The belly's coming down over it a little bit more on this side. Okay, we need room for the belt. Keep moving that up just a little bit. So this curve is what's giving you the sense of form. And Shrek does have a lot of form to him. Comes around here with that belly drooping down, so the belt's covered up a little bit more over there. I'll need a little bit of adjusting as I go to make details. The hand, where does the hand sit in here? Big blocky hand follows right along the belly. A little bit of shape to that sleeve, and an opening here. This comes straight over there. This kind of squares off a little bit up here too. This kind of goes up and around. This goes around and then out. Okay, again, not perfect yet. Still kind of figuring some things out. These lines will be really important. Some kind of connection to these lines, so I have to make adjustments there. Angle this out, back in. He's pretty tough. There's a lot of details to this, and there's a lot of curves that you have to make sure you get right. So shading is going to be a big part of this one too, but getting this initial sketch to have some form is what I want you to work on. And that comes in how you make these curves and little details and line direction. Okay, his head is pretty off here. Chin comes down to an angle over here. Pretty wide here and up. So pulling that up a little higher here. Curving that around here, and then I have to adjust the features. So that's more where the corner is here. He has a nice wide mouth, and it's going up a lot higher here. That nose is way up in here. Takes more of an angle like that. not that far off for the eye placement yet. Okay, we can still push that nose up some more because there's a good bit of space here, and we really didn't get enough chin in yet either. So I think I need that kind of space for the chin, that kind of opening. So everything has to move up. Now those eyes need to move up. But it's all about working simple first so that you can get your corrections made before you have too many details in here. I still have room to bring these up a little bit more. This head comes down like this. More width there. Some little horns. Very crude still right now. And this one over here. Okay, so still wider here. And down through here. Eyes are going to move up. Eyes are going to move up. Get a little bit more for that nose. Got that big wide space here, big wide smile. Lines here. And I can erase as I get these corrected. Clean this side up a little bit. The point of that has to go right into these smile lines that he's got here.